Test 1, 2. Test 1, 2. All right, what is up, everyone? This is Preston Sports Podcast coming to you on a Fix 'em Up Friday. Excuse me. This is the first Fix 'em Up Friday we'll be doing. So I'm just going to do the Browns. I know the Browns the best. I know the roster really well. I know most of our contract situations. So I figured can't go wrong with some good old Brownies. Pretty much just I'm kind of going to talk through and just do my thing, and then you'll kind of have an understanding of how I'm going to do this. I'll start off talking about the Browns draft class. Like the Browns draft class this year, addressed needs. Obviously, we took Greg Newsome out of, I believe, Northwestern to play that opposite boundary role, or at least to compete with Greedy in camp for it. We go to round 2. One of the steals at the draft, you got Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, linebacker out of Notre Dame. Very good linebacker. Anthony Walker said in OTAs the freak athleticism is reminding him of Darius Leonard, a former teammate of Anthony Walker. So, Darius Leonard, pretty good linebacker. Round 3, really big specific need addressing with Anthony Schwartz, wide receiver out of Auburn. A real speed demon, he's working on route running, and he is working on catching, currently in OTAs. Nothing crazy with his speed to be worked on. He's obviously very fast. We go to round 4, and then there's Tommy Togiai, defensive tackle out of The Ohio State University. Now, I don't have to say that much about him. He's a 4th-round defensive tackle. Really, what the Browns needed is defensive tackle after the release of Sheldon Richardson as a cap casualty. We signed Malik Jackson. Andrew Billings is coming off of the COVID-19 reserve list, but he's just a useful addition. I believe next was Tony Fields, linebacker. Don't remember where he came out of. So it was Tony Fields and Richard LeCounte in the 3rd round. Tony Fields is a linebacker. Richard LeCounte is a safety. Just kind of building depth for the future. And then Demetric Felton, running back out of UCLA. Running back / wide receiver, Really good draft class. Like the Browns draft class. I think it's the best draft class in the league. The Browns have kind of been doing pretty good organizationally as far as drafting free agency. Their front office has been really solid. So, fast forward this season, blah, blah, blah. Browns, I don't know, win the Super Bowl, say that happens. So now, what we're looking at, people who are set to be unrestricted free agents in the year 2022. Big names. We got some big names. Now, Nick Chubb, going to need to get paid. You have Jadeveon Clowney there. Will he get re-signed or not? No one really knows. Wyatt Teller, stud guard. Ronnie Harrison is a possible re-sign. Rashad Higgins. David Njoku, I talked about them earlier, but Anthony Walker Jr., Andrew Billings, Malik Jackson. Tack McKinley is supposed to become a free agent this year. JoJo Natson, Malcolm Smith, Cody Parkey. Couple lower name guys like Michael Dunn, Blake Hance. You have Robert Jackson, Greg Senant, who we signed this year, Elijah Lee, a special teams linebacker. So in my opinion, a couple key players to re-sign. Nick Chubb, obviously, you need to re-sign Nick Chubb. It would be, I know you're not supposed to pay a running back. This is a running back you pay. You pay Nick Chubb. He's one of the best running backs in the league. You have to pay him. I have Tack McKinley as a key player to re-sign. Tack McKinley and Jadeveon are both on 1-year deals. Now, obviously, you would love to keep Jadeveon Clowney if he plays well, but if he plays well, he's going to warrant more money than he got this year. Tack McKinley, I think, can be a solid edge opposite of Myles Garrett. He's still pretty young at the age of 27. If we can get him for cheap on a 2-3 year deal, I think the Browns should go for it. Wyatt Teller is someone that is possible to be re-signed, depending on how much he wants. I'm sure Cleveland would love for players to take discounts to stay in Cleveland, just because Cleveland is setting up to be a really big perennial playoff contender, if not a perennial Super Bowl contender. So kind of like how the Bucks have all these people taking pay cuts to go there. It's kind of hopefully will be a similar thing. But, if not, Wyatt Teller might be one to go, and someone that could replace him. Michael Dunn or Blake Hance both stepped up big time in the playoff games. Crack started the show in Kansas City. That will happen when Andy Reid does get your tape. But I'm not going to complain about a couple of guys who can step up in big moments. And then I have Andrew Billings. defensive tackle depth just isn't there for the Browns right now. So I think Andrew Billings should probably get a contract deal. Maybe cheap, maybe not. Not 100% sure. I was supposed to make about $3.5 million this year. So those are a couple of my key players. I think Anthony Walker is probably gone. I think Chris Hubbard is gone. David Njoku is more likely than not gone. Now, actually, just recently, David Njoku, I think there's a possibility David Njoku gets re-signed and Austin Hooper gets dumped. We'll have to see what happens with them both this year. David Njoku is not asking for trades anymore, wants to stay in Cleveland, at least for this year. He's on his 5th-year option right now. All that money is guaranteed. So I think it is definitely possible that he can get re-signed. Austin Hooper gets dumped, but that's to be determined. Rashad Higgins, probably gone. He signed 2 one-year deals now. I don't think there will be a third. Kadero Hodge, really good special teamer. He's more than likely gone. Cody Parkey, hopefully he's gone. I don't want Cody Parkey as a kicker. Malcolm Smith, probably gone. JoJo Natson, probably gone. Sheldon Day could be resigned. Elijah Lee. A couple of these lower name guys like Stephen Carlson, Port Augustin, Ronnie Harrison, probably gone. But like Robert Jackson, Malik McDowell, all these guys can possibly get re-signed on cheap deals, but I'm just talking about kind of big name players right now. Any other big name players I'm missing? MJ Stewart was played pretty well in the playoff. He had an interception. He allowed like 3 touchdowns in the same game though, so yeah, those are the key players. Now, possible cut or trade candidates. I think that J.C. Treader is a possible cut or trade. They drafted Nick Harris in the 4th round, in 3rd round in 2020. Let's see, 1st round it was Jedrick Wills, and 2nd round was Grant Delpit, and 3rd round... Oh, I should know this. Oh, I don't remember. But yeah, I can actually probably check this, can I? The 5th round. It was the 5th round. Who was the 3rd round pick in 2020? Who did we add in the draft? Am I crazy? Jordan Elliott, that's who we took. Goodness gracious. That's my bad. But yeah, we took Nick Harris in the draft last year. Played pretty well against the Giants at guard. Crack started the show with the Jets, but they were loading up the box. I don't blame him for that. J.C. Treader is supposed to make a bunch of money. I think around $10 million maybe. And now J.C. Treader, I did see a stat. The only offensive lineman who played 1,000 or more snaps and allowed 0 QB pressures. So he is very good. So it is possible that he doesn't. It's not guaranteed that he will. The organization might want to keep him. I think 2023 is when he hits free agency. But, it's just a possibility. Browns eventually will be looking to save cap space, and that is potentially an option. Chris Hubbard is set to be a free agent this next year, so I have him written down, but that would have to be like in the middle of the season if they just need cap space. And then I have Case Keenum. Case Keenum this past year was good when we didn't necessarily know if Baker was going to be able to step it up. We didn't know how Baker was going to play, and Baker he needed that veteran presence because honestly, he hadn't had one. He had Tyrod Taylor in his first season, but Tyrod Taylor kind of drifted away from the team a little bit. Kind of went to the Chargers, but I think Case Keenum is definitely a cut candidate just because he's expensive as a backup quarterback. I think he's a good backup quarterback and he's reliable, and I think that you get a good roster around him and he can help win some football games. But I'm looking for kind of a younger, we have Kyle Lauletta on the practice squad, so he could potentially be the backup, or even you take a quarterback next year's draft to be the backup. Going to what I predict, the 2022 roster. Now, I didn't look too far ahead into 2022's draft. I think that is pointless. I can look up 2022. That's a draft one, right? 2022 NFL defensive tackle prospects. And honestly, I don't know how far these go. So the number one prospect right now is DeMarvin Leal from Texas A&M, a 5-star recruit. Excuse me, he's a 5-star recruit. He's lived up. He was the number 2 defensive tackle in the 2019 high school class. Sophomore season, 37 tackles, 7 tackles for loss, 2.5 sacks, and an interception against Bama. Nice. So we're probably looking at Cleveland picking in the upper 20s again. So we're looking at maybe Jordan Davis from Georgia, possibly Perron Winfrey from Oklahoma, or Haskell Garrett from The Ohio State. But I should probably get to the roster. So what I have right now is just a roster kind of set up. So starting offense, I have Baker Mayfield, and then Kyle Aletta / rookie is QB number 2, and then Kyle Aletta / rookie is QB number 3. I think whoever doesn't get QB number 2 will be QB 3. We go to running back. I think it's going to look like Nick, Kareem Hunt, and Demetric Felton. There's been some rumors in Cleveland media that Browns will try to trade Kareem Hunt after next season. Don't think so. I think he's too good to trade. We go to wide receiver. I have it looking like Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Juice Landry, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Anthony Schwartz. That's actually wrong now. Congrats to Marvin Hall. Signed a deal with the Patriots today, so I can take him off of there. Derek Willis will be there, and probably a rookie receiver. Fullback, Andy Janovich, Johnny Stanton. Nothing changing there. Offensive line, I have it looking the same with Jedrick Wills, left tackle, or I'll just go left to right on the offensive line. We got Jedrick Wills, Joel Bitonio, Nick Harris, Wyatt Teller, and Jack Conklin. And then on the backup, I have a rookie left tackle, Drew Forbes at the right tackle position. What's his name? I forgot this earlier too. He's a center for the team. I think he's a practice squad player right now. Last name Patterson. I think it's... One second. I know the name. Anyways, so besides him, I have Michael Dunn at backup right guard and James Hudson at backup right tackle. Browns centers. Sorry. Okay, so anyways, let's go over to the defensive side of the ball. Defense, we'll start with the defensive line. Again, I'll go right to left, I should say. So the right side, I have Myles Garrett at right end, a rookie at defensive tackle, Andrew Billings at defensive tackle, and then Takk McKinley at, left end? I have to flip it in my brain because I have it written out as if I was looking at the defense from the QB position. Let me, here, 1 second. Browns. This is difficult. Okay, his last name's Patterson, the center. Sorry, I got distracted by that. Okay, so Myles, the rookie, Andrew Billings, and Takk McKinley on the defensive line. Backups look like Curtis Weaver, Sheldon Day, Jordan Elliott, and Porter Gustin. We go to the corner situation. I think it will be Denzel, Greg Newsome as the 2 outside guys, Greedy, Troy Hill, Robert Jackson, and AJ Green in the corner. Troy Hill will probably be the slot guy. Greedy will be backup boundary. Linebackers, I think Sione Takitaki, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, Jacob Phillips, Tony Fields, and Elijah Lee will make up that linebacking core. And then safeties, we're going to have Delpit and John Johnson, the third starting. Sheldrick Redwine and Richard LeCount backing them up. And then we have Montrell Meander, whatever you want to say it, playing that third strong safety role, most likely also on special teams. So, all that being said, that's what I think the Browns roster will be. Now, of course, there's always the possibility for trades and stuff like that. Just a couple players off the top of my head I think they should look at trading for. That's a good question. Off the top of my head. So if a player... The thing with the Browns is they're not really in a position to trade for anyone. Maybe a defensive tackle, like a game-changing defensive tackle. I don't know who's set to be free agents from the defensive tackle position. I can probably check that out. If I go to teams, and I do all teams, and I go to positions, and I pick defensive tackles, because the Browns would have to, it would honestly have to be for a defensive tackle, just because, let's see, let's put it at 2023. Actually, no, let's put it at 2022. An update. If the Browns were to trade for a player, it would have to be a defensive tackle. And it would have to be a clear upgrade at defensive tackle. And so you're looking at people like Akeem Hicks, Brandon Williams, and Ndamukong Suh. Let's look for someone, bring back Larry Ogunjobi. Someone like Malik Collins or, I don't know, DJ Jones, Austin Johnson. You know, it would have to be, even as we go here, maybe Vincent Taylor. No, they're not going to trade for Vincent Taylor. That's not worth it. But there isn't really anyone in the defensive tackle class. I mean, you can go like right. This has defensive ends separately than edges, which I kind of appreciate. But you look at defensive ends, and I imagine those are 3-4 defensive ends, which are different than 4-3 defensive ends. No, they're not. But, I mean, you can get someone like a Solomon Thomas, Ifeadi Adigbo if you want. It would have to be some game-changing player on defense. Offensively, someone you might want to trade, maybe Jack Conklin. If you feel that confident in James Hudson, Jack Conklin, you can trade after the 2022 season. I believe his contract is set to expire. He's kind of expensive. He's a really good tackle, but I don't know. I don't know what Cleveland's whole philosophy is. I know they have to have a clear and obvious upgrade. But I like the Browns roster. My prediction for them, I'm thinking they're probably going to be somewhere around 13-4 next year, based off of looking at the roster. I haven't done official predictions yet. But this is kind of it's not as in-depth as I would like it to be for regular Fix 'em Up Fridays. I just, in all honesty, I didn't put all the research in I could have. I could have taken a deep dive at draft classes. Starting next week, the Fix 'em Up Fridays will be better, because what I'm going to do is Monday and Wednesday, I'm going to go through, I'm thinking of doing, go all the way through to the Super Bowl with my predictions, and there's a website I can do where it will just keep track of who I have winning what games, and I'll do that. It's going to, and then that will help me set up a draft order, and then I can kind of look like I can look at the way too early mock drafts, and then kind of use those to kind of predict where the Browns, or who the Browns will pick rather, and then I can do, or not the Browns specifically, but where teams will pick. And then I'll be able to do a lot more as far as who I think they could draft, possible trades that could happen, yada, 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 all that stuff. This is a very dumbed down version of what I would like to do. And I can do a run through on Madden, actually, load up a Madden franchise with each team and kind of go through and do what I would do. Key players to re-sign and all that. Who I re-signed for what deals. Yeah, so there's my Fix 'em Up Friday with the Browns. Now, there's not a lot to fix with the Browns right now. They have a very good roster. There's defensive tackle and even linebacker possibilities you can fix. But yeah, that's the Browns. Sorry it's kind of short. The Browns just don't have a lot to work on. I'll probably try to do one of I'm thinking the Dolphins, but maybe one of the worser teams next week. Just so there's a little bit more content to chew on. But and just a reminder, I am gonna be at camp for this next upcoming week. So right now it is Friday, all day Saturday I'm gonna be recording, just so I can get some content out for you guys still. Yeah, so Monday, Wednesday, I'm probably going to go through records, and then we're looking at Friday. I'll do a Fix 'em Up Friday. Haven't decided who. I'll decide tomorrow. just letting you guys know. You know I hate it. Like, subscribe, do all the fun things. Comment what you think of Fix 'em Up Friday. Comment suggestions. I want to make it as good as possible, and I know I'm not doing it as good as I could right now. And so I just want to know how I can make it better for you guys. Tell me what you think, what you like, what you don't like, moves you agree with, moves you don't agree with, all that fun stuff. No weekend special this weekend, sorry. But I will talk to you guys on Monday, technically. If I don't get anything like groundbreaking out, I'm at camp. I can't record and upload. So if anything crazy happens, we'll talk about it week after next. Enjoy your guys' weekends. Enjoy your summers. Make good decisions. Don't do anything stupid. Again, like, subscribe, punch the bell like this. Punch. And I will talk to you guys on Monday. Peace out.